welcome to the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Jokes Gen X dads understand. Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My three fuss-free kids, and 90% of the time, are living proof of it. I am going to be performing another All-Star Chapter Edition to my upcoming collection of flash fiction short stories titled Waste of Height, really short stories in a bit. And this chapter is in honor of my second born, Arthur Morrison Kornbluth. And I'm going to give a holla for a rock and roll name and for my amazing creative abilities, all made possible by Hashem the Most High, because I was able to perform the miracle that's divine assisted by actually creating a freaking flow. The Kornbluth, thank you very much, in the form of Arthur Morrison Kornbluth. Holla! Thank you very much! And I considered giving my son the middle name Brooks, but then I changed my mind because I don't want to give my son the permission to be a Jewish pussy. Holla! Thank you very much! So, when my son was tested for some special services, and because he was having speech problems at the time, personally, I played the role of funny man psychiatrist and diagnosed his problem as him suffering from motor mouth disease. Because, like most interesting New Yorkers, we've got so much to say, so much to say. Dave Matthews lives. Holla! Thank you very much! So, he's thriving. He's a very funny kid. His first joke was, this is him yelling at our voice-powered, a virtual-powered speaker, Cortana, who's different from Alexa. So this is him, my son. He was like 4 when he said this. He says, Cortana, throw yourself out the window already. Holla! Thank you very much! So I'm going to, again, be performing a chapter that I haven't done this podcast yet, called The Wishing Well Architect. Because after all these tests, these professional psychiatrists, people that work in higher education, people, professional educators, they tested my son. They said, got a lot going on upstairs. He could be an architect one day. And, he builds Lego creations in a very fast period of time. And my brain hurts just like looking at the directions. So I can thank my wife for that. And because he definitely got that side from her. I wouldn't say that he got his powers of imagination from Mama so much. Despite her going out of her way to hype her artistic skills, such as these refurbished antique dresser drawers that she paints and puts stickers on, and all of a sudden she's fucking Van Gogh. Holla! Thank you very much! And I go out of my way to deprive her of her private artistic time, which is obviously her dig of me being able to indulge in my fruitless shadow band art over here while she threatens to divorce me because no one in this country is any fucking balls left that works in entertainment. Holla! Thank you very much! So, without this turning into a bitter-laced diatribe against my wife, I am going to get to the Wishing Well Architect. And, I've touched upon this theme before, but, I love the idea of Art Show USA. Eventually, I will write other stories about him designing for my next book. I don't know if it's going to be my next book, but eventually I am going to write a book called Back to Hebrew School, and it's going to be a collection of historical, religious Jewish fiction. So obviously I really care about being hugely popular, commercially speaking. Considering my audience, that book should be like the 2 people left in New York that still give a shit about pleasing God by obeying His laws. But I I phrase it to my kid. That's gonna be like my passion project. Like for example, like Elvis did like commercial records to finance his a spiritual gospel record. So I'm thinking, so actually for the next book to finance that, I want to do a book about. I don't like this title, but let's try it. The title of the book is Maternal Instinct Waves. Holla! Thank you very much! Maternal Instinct Waves, which examines 4 to 5 women who experience the maternal instinct at different stages in their lives. And I want to have a character that never experiences the maternal instinct at all. We could have a lesbian in there. We could have a character that has it. Maybe she had an eating disorder at some point in her life, and that ruined her ability to have children. So I could explore that. We could have a woman that had an abortion, and then had remorse, which I did explore in an earlier screenplay, Juno Does Williamsburg. But so we have that character. We could have one that has the instinct in high school, another one that has the maternal instinct, in their 40s, but then she has to find out that she needs to have the intro, but she's not enthralled with the idea of having twins. So there's a lot going on, and I'll definitely have like a transgender character. So I'll make it as wokeified as humanly possible, without demonizing Whitey, or bad mouthing the Jews, or demonizing Israel. And we should have a freaking winner in our hand. God forbid. Holla! Thank you very much. Maternal wave instincts. So, but in the other book, Back to Hebrew School, which I want to eventually turn to a screenplay, because I like the idea. The story being is, so I decide to go back to Hebrew school with my kids and to like relearn Hebrew and to go through what they have to go through, similar to like what Ronnie did in Back to School, hence the expression Back to Hebrew School. And then eventually, like, the twist is that I become a big hit in the class because I'm funny and I'm this comedian, stay-at-home dad comedian. And then all of a sudden, and I start writing these short stories that are these sketches that we actually act out in class, and they could actually be, inspired, like animated, like sketchy interludes, meaning like sketch-based interludes, where my religious historical fiction, like mini short films, play out. And that makes me the most popular conservative Hebrew school instructor known to mankind. I go viral. Everyone loves me except Antifa and the Muslim Radical Brotherhood faction of BLM. So, and I think that would make a hilarious film. And I know that Hashem, the Most High, made me the man to do it, because he didn't give me this funny Jew bone just to complain about how conservatives have no balls and to dick to prosecute Twitter and Facebook when they're being shot at left and right, and to allow democracy to die on their watch, and to see freaking congressional hearings with the freaking mask on. It's like beyond pathetic. So Fauci, when can we take off the fucking mask? How hard is it to give a scientific, data-loaded line without you accusing me of dry humping or raping science and democracy? I'm still waiting. Fuckface Fauci. Holla! Thank you very much! So, if an agent is listening, can you show some smidget of balls, please? Okay? I'll be like the funniest best friend you never had. Alright? And I won't be some sadistic creep who offers to make you my homemade spaghetti and meatballs to stay in New York as the greatest city in the world continues to burn in hell, and have to hear from my wife, oh, Cuomo legalized weed. Great. Well, the city had already turned into a stinking hellhole, and so it might as well smell like weed everywhere. And I love the taste of weed, but smelling weed everywhere I go, not so much. Holla! Thank you very much! But not complain about the idea of, being able to, puff a one-hitter in the city and not have to, be paranoid as if I'm in high school again. But I never really was that paranoid in the first place, so. But I still think it's going to take like 5,000 years to actually have shops. But anyway, I do not want to talk about medicinal weed. However, did you know that 420, the weed smoking holiday, is actually Hitler's birthday? I don't know about you, but when I learned this, I hadn't felt that betrayed since Sylvester Stallone snuck Mel Gibson into Expendables 3. Holla! Thank you very much! So, one of those short stories is my son, doing the way my brain works, and I'm able to like remember where I was before, because I took like a week off from smoking weed because I ran out. Holla! Thank you very much! And I'm schlepping the freaking Great Barrington later today to load up on some edibles. and just a little smidge of grain that I want to taste on my 45th birthday in the big city. Because the city always comes that much more alive to me. And I think I've earned it. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Jimi Hendrix, Blues Lives. Holla! Thank you very much! So my son, Art Show USA, is going to build the next great synagogue, the next great temple that's never been built. The next great temple after Solomon. So I'm really excited about that story. And I also want him to design. I want to have a story where he designs like the most like psychedelic, like hilarious, conjuring, like roller coaster park ever, with like really funny names and really funny characters, and make like a movie franchise on it. And so basically like a park that like Weird Al would make after smoking some like really high grade working sativa weed for the first time in his life, with Doodle Dad over here helping add some imaginative heft to the grandiose, in your face, fuck you Walt Disney, you anti-Semitic cunt, long time, especially knowing that Disney's fucking in bed with the slave nation China forevermore. Holla! Thank you very much! Here we go. The Wishing Well Architect. Art Show USA was no ordinary wishing well architect. He designed a wishing well for Bill Gates' daughter after buying her a horse farm in North Salem, New York, only to clog it on purpose with Planned Parenthood brochures in honor of his former board of directors dad for Planned Parenthood, after making such a splash as a baby part reseller, financier, through his participation at Planned Parenthood, earning him the nickname later to be used by pro-life activist groups such as the $1 Million Fetus Flicker Man. Holla! Thank you very much! Art Show USA was a perfectionist artiste. His doodle dad, Michael Kornberg, now a famous comedian author, who earned a stand-up residency at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, would always encourage his son's inborn artistic flair. Yet all his gorgeous, pitch-perfect son would hear afterwards, in semi-kidding fashion, was, "So you think I suck because?" Every student-teacher evaluation for Art Show USA was a pure joy to receive for his doodle dad, because he got an extreme kick out of some teachers, like his first grade one, Miss Rudolph, who would bemoan in a begrudgingly huffy manner, "We all know Arthur is a great artist," only to rub in the harsh fact that most teachers teach for a reason and birth less talented offspring incapable of breaking that streak. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad always pounded into his eldest son's cranium. Art sells, baby. Which always stayed with Art Show, because he was haunted by early memories of his mom threatening to divorce his dad if he wrote one more book and didn't get a job at Trader Joe's in Danbury, Connecticut. So his Doodle Dad doubled down on himself and wrote not one but two more books without blatantly advertising the fact to his wife, until he scored a lit agent in Israel with his book The Coast-Steering Comedian, and the rest is star-studded history. Art Show made his first million from a lucrative birdhouse making business called Bird Baller Cribs, from only taking one woodworking class prior. He sold these Bird Baller Cribs at various farmers markets throughout Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Woodstock, and all the way up in Kingston, New York, too, while his mother sold flowers with Art Show's big sister from their new estate farm in North Salem, calling her flower truck Green Thumb Girl. Tom Petty lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Which works on a couple of levels because he's a big fan of the green, the sticky green, and of course he sang "Here Comes My Girl" and sang "American Girl." Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad's favorite birdhouse creation was his Kiss theme one that rocked a giant-shaped bed, similar to the one lead singer and main songwriter Paul Stanley lies on, amidst an endless swirl of busty blonde beauties in his Kiss lair in Beverly Hills, that is. Dice lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Although the best part of this birdhouse creation was the giant Gene Simmons tongue extension bird feeding line, containing a sprinkling of some homemade CBD oil, marinated granola as more high-flying Blue Jays and Cardinals licked it up! Licked it up! Oh! Kiss lives, obviously. Holla! What Gen X dads understand. Thank you very much! Art Show USA cares plenty about wishing wells because ever since he could remember, he'd wished for his Doodle Dad's books to become resounding successes because art sells, baby. Hunter S. Thompson lives. Holla! Thank you very much! The new and improved wish after his daddy finally scored a lit agent. Started stand-up residency in Vegas and got him into the Screen Actors Guild for a film to co-star with Russell Brand and Vince Vaughn called Two Tall Comedians, was for his dad to finally part with his precious time-release Adderall, despite his claims of writing like a Jewish angel on the stuff. Reality is, Doodle Dad was an incredibly fast-talking New Yorker to begin with, even on high-grade weed, so he didn't require any speedy thought enhancement as much as it gave him some added oomph that wasn't needed in the first place. Holla! Thank you very much! On Doodle Dad's 45th birthday in Woodstock, New York, he took a mini hike in the woods with his son, Art Show USA, only to bump into a wishing well along the way. Doodle Dad gave his son a customary quarter to make a wish with, although this time he wished his dad would become convinced he'd become a big-time Arthur comedian success on Adderall or off. Period. Plus, he knew his daddy off Adderall would focus less on how annoying Mama could be with her phone during Adam Sandler Appreciation Night at home again, futzing around with her Instagram feed, acting as if that's more artistically special than the latest and greatest jokes the Golden Jew had to offer. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad was better off writing all day, performing at night, and taking some weed edibles or a celebratory puff from his cherished green, in addition to an IPA, or two, assuming he got his ass on the Peloton, after another highly rewarding day at the office for making the most of his God-given gift of comedic song. Art Show USA's latest and greatest wishing well creation was made in Central Park, near the Great Lawn, in the big city, the place of his birth, like Doodle Dad before him, which they both derived tremendous localitarian pride from, knowing the island of Manhattan is what dreams of doer-topper success are made of. Can I get a holla for preaching the gospel a long time in honor of my city, Walt Whitman's phrasing, referring to Manhattan, the greatest city in the world at one point. Hashem, please make that truth shine again, because we're able to get it back. And have me play a large part in making that happen. Holla! Thank you very much! The wishing well was named Doodle Dad Dumper, a tad long-winded name, even for Doodle Dad's taste. Still, the symbolic heft of this name wasn't lost on the New York adoring public, especially after the Today Show did an unveiling of Doodle Dad Dumper, where a line of Doodle Dads followed Doodle Dad's lead and dumped whatever pill, powder, drink, or strain of dum-dum weed they felt was preventing them from flying high after their kid's glorious presence. In addition to the delight they could derive in the Lord being a permanent fixture in their hearts too. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad beamed with endless nakas. Pride in Yiddish. derived from the reflective, successful glow emanating from offspring that stemmed from his doodle dad tree trunk. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle dad picks up his son with excitable boy glee, who he wanted to name Arthur Zevon Cornbooth in the first place, and gives him a 360 airplane spin for old time's sake, despite Archo being 6'7" now and 20 years old. Archo USA shrieks with untapped joy, like he was 7 years old all over again. Doodle Dad continues to spin his precious, pitch perfect boy and says, "Teenager in love is all grown up and he's all grown up. Are you too special to be real? Are you too special to be real?" Archo USA shrieks with more love-blasting joy and says with pitch-perfect comedic timing, "Are you saying I suck because..." Doodle Dad laughs a long time, wishing even his worst enemies got to experience Doodle Dad bliss like this.